Traders, welcome to another video, and in this video we're going to be discussing event 2 because it seems to me that a lot of you are struggling finding your event 2s after it's hit your daily level or your level of supply and demand. And I think what's happening there is why you're struggling with your event 2 is because you haven't picked event 1 correctly, and that we're just not going to discuss in the video because that is really the easiest part of the game, and that's the whole reason we have the event chain process to confirm and for it to filter out event supply and demand zones that potentially don't have the validation for a particular trade, right? So at the moment we're looking at the extreme, the current extreme on the pound USD. So this was the current high, the low has been broken right here. This is now moved up to the extreme because it's broken that high, and we are now looking for a supply zone. We can see that a daily supply zone has already been created over here. Markets come into it. Out of that, we can see another daily supply zone has been created, and we're going to tackle this one right now. So lovely, we've got all white candles coming in to our daily supply zone. Let's go down to the H1 chart. All right, now we can see here already that what we're looking for, the structure that we're looking for an event 2 is simply a bullish engulfing structure. Okay, that's what we're looking for to get broken. Right, when our event 2 happens, it is the break of an event 2. All right, so it's the event break of event 2 which will allow us or give us the confirmation that somewhere above that, whatever the birth of that move that actually broke that event 2 is going to be our trigger event. Right, so right now we can see that we have a bullish engulfing structure, right, that has come into our daily level of supply. Now the move in is event 1. All right, so let's draw our rectangle around this area here. This is our event break area. So now what we're waiting for, so this is event 2. Event 1 is the market moving into an area of daily supply or demand. That could be different for you if you're trading like on the H1 and you're doing intraday trading. That could be an H1 zone or an H4 zone for you. Event 2 for me is this H1 bullish engulfing structure being broken. All right, so let's see what happens. All right, so perfect. Now we've got a strong break of this event 2 area. Right now, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to close over here. It's just got to be a nice, strong breakthrough. There's not like a silly little pip just over this event break area here. It's got to be a nice, strong break like it's just happened here. So now we've got a break. Perfect. All right. Now, let's look at this. We don't want to take this zone because this is the origin of the move that broke. All right. The origin. Right, reason being that the move started up here. Now it came down into here, came back, went sideways for a second, came back down, moved back up, and then pushed straight through. This bearish engulfing structure, right, is not our move. All right, we don't want our trigger event here. We could potentially have our trigger event here, but our main trigger event is right here with this bearish engulfing structure. Okay. That is our trigger event. We've got a nice little level test there. We want the birth of the move that led to the break, not the drop. We had to pull back the origin. This is the origin of the move. This is the birth of the move, right? So let me give you an example. If this had broken through this and then it decided to come back up, consolidate, right, and then further go sideways, this would no longer be the origin of the move because it's already broken. So now we're going to be looking for a new area of supply up here to try and make the move back to the downside. All right, so let's continue and see what happens. So now I've got to move back into our birth. And now we've got a nice break to the downside. So that is the event 2. That's as simple as it is. Now, obviously, I think there is going to be a video down below of me back testing where you can see me tackle multiple multiple levels of event 2 breaks and not having the birth of the move there to actually take that. So I have to tackle more event breaks until the birth of the move and the structure of that birth is perfect for me to actually call it a trigger event. All right, so that link is down below. So now we have our move down and we are off and away. And guys, this is as simple as I keep it. Okay, this is as simple as I keep it. Yes, sometimes the market can come back up and break through this, but this is the whole point. This gives us our confirmation. If it broke through this before it even came through our event break here, then we wouldn't even be looking at this area anymore, right? The market would continue moving up. It would continue producing bullish engulfing structures. We would still be drawing in those bullish engulfing structures as our event break area. And then when the market eventually breaks one of those structures, then we'll be looking for our trigger event, which would be a supply zone and be looking like a bearish engulfing structure, just like it is over here. So let me give you another example on the USD CAD. So over here, we've got a lovely daily level of supply and the market has just moved into it. Let's go down to the H1 chart. All right, so already we have an event break area. We don't have to think about where an event break area is. We know what the structure looks like, okay? And what's even better, now, what I like personally, on that one, we didn't quite see it. I like to see lots of friction. Lots of friction for me means that it adds weight to that event break area. And then when the trigger event or the supply zone actually breaks that event break area, it adds weight to that event break area, which therefore adds weight to the trigger event. And that trigger event should hopefully be the right one that will allow to push the market to the downside. So let's continue here. Let's go slowly. Okay, it's held again, good. That's what we want to see. We want to see it holding, adds more weight, as I said. Again, perfect. Let's move this across some more. Okay, we've got a break, right? We now have a break of the event 2 area on the USD CAD. All right. Now, this one is a little bit messy, and I'm glad that this is a little bit messy because we're still going to do exactly the same thing. We're looking for our rally base drop, that same old school structure, right? We're looking for a base because we just haven't got our perfect engulfing structure. We don't want to take this one here because this is the origin of the move, right? The birth of the move, because you remember this pushed down, okay? This pushed down, it popped out. If the market had pushed through this, this would have been our origin and our birth. If the market had pushed into here like it has, come back out and then push down, this would be the origin and this would be the birth. All right, but now the market had pushed in and it's created a new birth zone, right? It's created a new birth area, which is this area here. So now we've got a rally, a base, and a drop, all right? And that drop has pushed through here nicely. So now what we want to do is we want to draw in our trigger event, all right? And not only that, we don't want to just take this here. We don't want to put our trigger event just here because we still have this high over here just to cover. So for me personally, I always like to give myself room to breathe, and just so the market doesn't take me out because I'm being a fucking cheapskate with my pips, right? So let's just let's short that. Okay, so let's see what happens. Oof. Just missed it there. Come on, let's go. I'll come back in and touch it. Let's move it up here a little bit more. Perfect. Perfect. Still not getting a break out of there yet. Let's move that. We got, oh, it's gone deeper into the zone, and had a little bit of a freeze, and now we're off and away. So there it is again. Okay, it's that simple. We're looking for that event break area, number one, that has entered the daily area of supply. Again, that could be an H40 or H1 for you, and then you could be using like a 15-minute event break or a 5-minute event break, and we're looking for the birth of that break for our event 2 to call that the trigger event, right? So let's for instance now, okay, for instance, if this hadn't have broken and the market continued to the upside, we'll be looking for a new trigger event. This would not be our trigger event because it hasn't broken this, right? And if it broke this area and then took us out, this trigger event would no longer be our trigger event. So if we still thought that this had potential to go to the downside, yes, we would have taken a loss, but now we're going to be looking for a new event 2 area as the market moves above this high, right? And we're going to be marking off event 2s until we get a break of that event 2, and then we're going to mark off our trigger event at the birth of that move that actually broke event 2. All right, so I can't really go into more depth in this video, guys. I think it's quite clear. If you still haven't got it after watching this video, then please let me know what you haven't got down in the comments, and be very specific. And if you haven't yet, please make sure you also click the link below and pick up the best supply and demand books in the world. And yes, I am biased, and just ask anyone in the community how good they are, because they will reframe your mind when it comes to the market. I hope you've enjoyed this. Speak to you soon.